Hello, and today we are going to be talking about the great reading mistake, how balanced literacy left millions behind. It sounded like a good idea at the time. Instead of drills and phonics charts, why not let kids fall in love with reading? Surround them with books, encourage them to use context clues and pictures, let them discover the joy of stories on their own. That was the idea behind balanced literacy, a well-meaning approach that blended elements of phonics with the more feel-good, intuitive methods of whole language. But intentions don't equal outcomes. And for an entire generation of students, the result of balanced literacy was devastating. What is balanced literacy? Balanced literacy emerged in the late 1990s and early 2000s as a compromise between phonics-based instruction and the whole language philosophy. It promised the best of both worlds. Some phonics here, a little reading workshop there, a dash of student choice, and lots of encouragement. But in reality, phonics was often only sprinkled in. There was no clear scope and sequence. Teachers were encouraged to observe what students needed in the moment and adjust accordingly. The problem? Learning to read is not intuitive. Reading is a code, and without direct systematic instruction on how to crack that code, many kids simply couldn't do it. The flawed core of balanced literacy, 3 cueing. One of the most damaging pieces of balanced literacy was the 3 cueing system. Students were taught to identify unknown words by 1. Looking at the picture, 2. Guessing what would make sense, and 3. Checking the first letter. Notice what's missing? Actual sounding out the word. 3 cueing trained kids to rely on guessing, not decoding, and for students with dyslexia or other language-based learning challenges, it made reading feel impossible. Research has now made it overwhelmingly clear 3 cueing contradicts how the brain learns to read. Neuroscience shows that the most effective way to teach reading is through structured literacy. Explicit, systematic instruction in phonemic awareness, so sound awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. 3 cueing doesn't teach the brain how to read. It teaches it how to fake it. The fallout, what happened to a generation of readers. According to the nation's report card, over 60% of fourth graders in the U.S. are not proficient in reading. In many low-income and minority communities, that number jumps to over 80%. An entire generation was taught using a method that wasn't just ineffective, it was actually misleading. Kids who could memorize and guess often passed. Kids who needed decoding support fell behind, acted out, got labeled, and in many cases were diagnosed with learning or behavior disorders that may have been preventable. This wasn't a small mistake, it was a system-wide failure. A path forward. The good news, we know better now. States are starting to adopt science of reading legislation, teacher training programs are beginning to shift, and more parents are demanding change. But the transition is so slow. Old habits die hard, and many schools still rely on balanced literacy frameworks that sound good but don't work. If we want to prevent the next generation from suffering the same fate, we must abandon the 3 cueing once and for all, train teachers in structured literacy, provide high-quality intervention based on how the brain learns to read, advocate for evidence-based instruction at every level. My final thought. We don't blame the teachers. Most of us were simply doing what we were taught, but now we know better. Reading is not a guessing game. It's not a feeling or a vibe. It's a science. And our kids deserve to be taught that way. If you would like pre-made weekly lessons and access to guided teaching videos in structured literacy, head to mindchild.net. See you in the next post.